Hello everybody, it's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter and welcome to my weekly vlog for Tuesday, February the 8th, 2022, and it is vlog or episode number 153. So what have I been working on? Well, another quilt. This quilt's a little different. I'm making it up as I go along, so it's sort of a form of improv quilt. And it's kind of a quilt that it's just a novelty item. And I found some blocks that I wanted to put together, and they were freebies. So in a sense, I'm kind of Frankensteining this quilt as I gather pieces from my scrap pile, various pieces of yardage, and yeah, so let me show you what I'm talking about here. So these were my basic blocks. Now you see in the center, that's a gnome. And I went looking for gnome blocks. Now I found a lot of paper pieced and applique types of gnome blocks, but I really didn't want to do either one of those types. I did try one of the paper piecing types, and it worked out okay, but I'm not that fond of doing paper piecing. So I did find this one though. It was a freebie. And it's just a patchwork, very simple patchwork little gnome. But I thought he was kind of cute. So I grabbed him, made 4 of him, all in different colors. And as I said, I'm making these all pretty much as I can from my scraps. And then I decided, well, maybe I should put some kitties on this quilt as well. So I went looking again for a block, a patchwork pattern for the kitties, and I found the one you see here to the left of the gnome. And again, I made 4 of those just out of scraps. And then I thought, why not throw in some butterflies too? Because you know I love butterflies. So I did the same process and I made 4 butterflies. So those were my basic blocks. And then it came time to start to basically design and put this quilt together. So I'll show you this in stages. So this was the first stage. I was just focusing on the gnomes, and I thought, well, how will I arrange them? Well, I could have put the gnomes side by side with each other, but then they would just look like little triangles with a circle kind of a thing. So they needed to be separated out. Now I could have separated them out with a simple sashing, and I had thought of that at the beginning, but I wanted this quilt to be a pretty good size. It's not a huge quilt, as you'll see when I show you the finished product, but so I do like flying geese. I know a lot of people don't like making flying geese, but I don't mind at all, especially because I've got a specialty ruler that makes sizing up your flying geese really simple and really accurate. And of course I needed something in the middle, so I went to my standard star. So I think this is a sawtooth star, again made with flying geese. Um, so I was on a roll. Let's put it that way. And I put them all together, and then I felt, well, it needs a border. So again, from my stash of scraps, and everything here is made from scraps, pretty much. I may have used a little yardage in the flying geese, and if you notice, my fabric in that has butterflies on it as well. So keeping with my theme, if you can call it a theme. So I got that done. Then it was time to incorporate the kitties and the butterflies. And so I did, and you can see how I did those. I did top and bottom, sort of a border. And I did have to alter the kitties a little bit. The butterflies and the gnomes were the same size, but the cats were not. They were a little bit longer. So I just took off the bottom row of each of the cats, and in fact I think I like them better. That gives it a little bit more of a shape to it. So yeah, I was very happy with the way that all turned out. Now, as this is the Idiot Quilter, I'm going to point out some mistakes. Yeah, there are mistakes in this, and it just wouldn't be one of my quilts unless I made a mistake. First of all, I was going along really well when I got to this section here with the butterflies and the cats, and when I got that section done and I got this yellow border around it, I looked at it and realized I had put this row up here upside down. So I had to rip out the border, and I had to rip out that row and flip it around and put it back in. It wasn't that difficult, but it was annoying. And then I've got a few other little problems. If you take a look at my cats, one of these things doesn't belong. And that would be this block right here, or this little half square triangle. It's flipped. It should have been the other way around. Well, no, actually, now that I'm looking at it, it shouldn't have been the other way around. It was a totally wrong square. If you look at the other ones, how they work out. But okay, it just makes it somewhat unique. And really, when I was putting this together and ordering it, I should have changed these two cats' positions because I've got the same fabric next to each other here. Oh well. This was just one of those quilts I was making up as I went along, and it's just for fun. So it'll quilt out. That's what everybody says, right? You'll notice that the 6-inch border happens to be butterflies as well. And so it's not a bad size quilt. I'm not sure what it was. I think it's about 52 across and 60 down, something like that. Anyways, it's ready to be thrown on Lucy, and I'll do some quilting on it. And I don't know what kind of quilting. I think I'll just do an overall stippling with it. And then that one's done. And, it's there. If I need a quilt for a little kid or something, who won't really care if there's a mistake in the kitties or whatever, and they just want to drag it around the house, they're blanky, then maybe that'll be a good thing. Or maybe just a charity quilt or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, it was kind of fun to make, and now it's leaving the door open for me to quilt something a little bit more serious, or make something that's a little bit more serious. And speaking of which, my next project it was going to be, sorry, that frog is back in my throat. I showed you the pattern quite a few weeks ago now, about the 1st of January. I showed you one for that works with the panel and the fabric that I bought from the new line from Northcott Fabrics, their 10th anniversary of their Old Canada collection. And I found a pattern I really liked, and I love the panel that they have in this set. So I went looking for the pattern, and I found it at Dragonfly Quilting out in BC. Now, I had kind of forgot at the time that some time ago, probably a year or so ago, I ordered something from Dragonfly Quilting, and it took an incredibly long time to get it. And their customer service is not the greatest in the world. But I'd forgotten all about that. I was just excited that I found the pattern because I was having trouble finding this pattern. I mean, this is the problem with these fabric manufacturers. They show what they've got in the whole bit, but you never know when it's going to make it into the stores, and you can't order it directly from Northcott. So I found this place out in BC, Dragonfly Quilting, and I ordered it. It didn't say it wasn't in stock. It didn't say it was a pre-order. It didn't say it was back-ordered. It took my money and ran. That was January the 7th. We are now February the 7th. February the 8th. We're a month after the fact. Now, they were sending it by Canada Post, but of course they never sent me any notification saying it had been shipped. And most quilt stores online do tell you that your order's been shipped. So I waited, and I waited, and I waited until last week. And I wrote to them. And it took them a while to get to me. Maybe it was the person's day off. I don't know. COVID. Yeah, that's the excuse everybody uses, right? For all of this. That's the excuse they use for bad service. What are they going to do when COVID's over? Anyways, still got that frog. Excuse me. Coffee. So, anyways, they said they were going to check with their supplier and they'd get back to me. So, I wasn't happy. I let them know that I wasn't happy, and I told them, I said, look, if you didn't have it in stock, why did you have it posted on your website and didn't make any indication that it was a pre-order or that you were waiting for them to come in or whatever like that? Well, I didn't get any answer to that whatsoever. So I just left it. I was nice in that email. But the first email I'm nice in. If I have to write to you again, it starts to escalate. a little bit. So, didn't hear anything from them for several days. So I wrote to them again. And this time, the answer I got was, yeah, they were still waiting to hear from the supplier. So I escalated the email. I told them, I'm really not thrilled with this. You have my money. You've had my money for over a month. You've made no indication that you are unable to supply this product. And I kind of pulled out the social media card. I said, well, I do have a YouTube channel and I do review online quilt stores. So when I come to reviewing yours, I don't think I'll be able to. I said, I'll be very sorry that I can't give you a positive review. I didn't get any reaction from that either. So it tells you how little they care. Okay? So I've left that. I went hunting again. I found another place here in Ontario that had it on their website. But I thought, do they really have it? Or don't they? So I wrote to them. And that place is called, let me check the name here to get it right. Stitch It Central in London, Ontario. Don't deal with them. Why do I say that? Customer service sucks. I sent them an email through their own site, the whole bit. They had a form. I filled it out and whatnot. I asked them, I told them up front, I said, look, I've got this pattern. Gave them all particulars about the pattern, the number, the whole bit. And I said, you have it on your website. I will buy it from you if you can just let me know before I place the order that you actually have it physically in stock. And here's why. And I told them about Dragonfly. And so I said, so could you please get back to me and let me know if this is the case, if you have it in stock, and then I'll gladly order it from you. I had nothing. That was a week ago. Nothing. Absolutely nothing from them. So the bottom line of this is I sent another email to Dragonfly, and this time I was told, yeah, the supplier missed their order, but they're sending it out now. So we should have it in a couple of days and we'll be shipping it to you. Okay, we'll wait. I'll wait till closer to the end of the week, and if I see nothing in my mailbox, hear nothing more from them, I'll be sending them another email. This email will be the third email. This one will not be nice at all. Meanwhile, with Stitch It Central in London, I wouldn't go near them. They apparently don't need anybody's business because they don't have any customer service. They don't write back to you. That's unexcusable as far as I'm concerned. I don't care about the excuses. Employee sick, COVID, whatever. If you want to keep your doors open, especially during this time, then you need to answer your emails. I didn't ask anything hard. It was a simple thing. Do you have it in stock physically or not? Yes or no. So yeah, I'm a little ticked off about this whole situation. I have the fabric ready to go. Now, I could figure out how to do this particular pattern on my own without the pattern because it's not very difficult. But I want it to have the official pattern for it. And I'm trying to support Canadian quilt stores here too. But when you get this kind of service, it's no wonder some of them go under. Because I am all about customer service when it comes to my evaluation of how good an online or a physical quilt store is. I mean, by them not answering the email or by them screwing around, and I don't necessarily really believe what Dragonfly Quilt's telling me about this. They're blaming it on the supplier. Yeah, is that true? Is that true? The least they could have done in good faith is says, we're so sorry for this. If you would like, we can refund your money. They never once mentioned that. Never once mentioned that. So, anyways, bottom line, 2 quilt stores that are online that I don't think you should deal with. Stitch It Central, London, Ontario, and Dragonfly Quilting, BC, British Columbia. Now, maybe you've had better experience with them, and if so, I'd love to hear about that. But my impression of both of those, based on what I've already told you, is not favorable. Okay, so what else has been going on? Oh, so speaking of gnomes again, I have something else I'm going to show you. When I was doing my search for gnomes, for patterns, I think it was on the Quilter's Way. Just let me get this up here for you. On the Quilter's Way, the organizer of it, Kim, she said she knew how much I'm into gnomes. She had found this book, and she's trying to get it from one of our bookstores here in Canada. But you could order it online. Now, she said that it was in Kindle format, and she didn't want it in an e-reader format. She wanted it as a physical copy. But I did a search. Now, I don't have a Kindle. I have a Kobo. That's the Canadian equivalent of a Kindle. And I didn't want it in electronic text format either, not in that format. Um, but you could buy it from, I think it was the site, the actual site, Annie's Quilts. You could get it as a PDF and download it. So I did. Now, it was large, it's about 50 some pages, but it has 9 different designs in it, and they're cute. Now, a lot of them are applique, although the one that they're showing you right here off the side, which is kind of Christmassy, uh, is really a patchwork one. So I bought that. It wasn't very expensive. I think it may have cost me $10. Might have been less than that. That might have been with the American exchange in our money, kind of a thing. But anyways, I got that, and I'm going to look through it more and maybe make some of the projects that are in it down the road. Um, I also found, or somebody sent me, actually several of you, thank you for this. Several of you sent me the link to the Jelly Roll Club, and they have. This isn't the Jelly Roll Club I'm showing up here. I just realized now. The Jelly Roll Club has a Gnome of the Month kind of freebie club. So I've downloaded January and February's information about those. It is applique, but I should probably get more into applique as well. So I have that, and I don't know if I'll ever do them or not, but I thank all of you who directed me to that. And also on my search, and I was at Annie's again, Annie's Crafts, I think it's called. I found this for a table runner, and I thought it was really cute. And they had a 20% off coupon or something like that, so I used it. So I think this cost me about $7.99 or something like that for the pattern for making this gnome table runner. Again, I thought it was kind of cute as well. One of those things I've got sitting in my pile of things to possibly do. I may get to it, I may not get into it. We'll see. But anyways, now somebody I heard say, can you do gnomes when it's not Christmas? You can do gnomes any time of the year, as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, I'm still on the gnome craze. So, what else? Well, we had Craft and Chat this past week, and we had record numbers. I think the top count was 18, and that was great. Of course, that was counting Walter and myself as well, so more like 16. But that we usually average about 12, 10 to 12, so that was pretty good. And I think everybody had a good time, and we did too. Got a lot done. Now, I did mention, I have mentioned it several times over, not only here, but on Craft and Chat and things, because Craft and Chat is during the week, during the day, and people work. God, that's overrated working. Seems like 100 years ago when I used to work. Well, it was 10. So anyways, I have mentioned that I might run a pop-up sew day kind of a thing. Just very informal, very casual, very last minute kind of a deal. And those that are available can pop in. So I'm thinking I might try that because I've had favorable comments about doing that. Of course, it will be on a Saturday or Sunday. So I think I'm going to have one. So if you're watching this, advance notice, I think I am not making an absolute promise that I'm going to do a pop-up sew day this coming Saturday, which would be February the, okay, what is this? Today's the 8th, so 9th, 10th, 11th, it'd be February the 12th. And probably in around starting at, well, I might start right when I get up. After I've had my shower and had a coffee, I might start right then. And that could be as early as 7 o'clock in the morning. Whatever. We'll see. It's a pop-up. Um, not not committing myself to anything on here. Now, I will though, at the end of the week on Friday, if I'm seriously going to have this, and I think I probably am, I will have a quickie little 1-minute YouTube video announcement. And in that announcement will be the Zoom link for it. And you're free to join up anytime you want on that day. If you've got nothing better to do, you got a couple hours free, pop in and say hello and see what's going on. How long will it last? I have no idea until I get bored. Essentially. It's a pop-up. I don't know. It's just there. So, if you're interested, watch for the announcement, hit the notification bell. If you haven't already, subscribe, as they say. I've been saying that a little bit more lately, because I've just gone over 5,000 subscribers. Yay! Yay, it took 10 years. Yay! Yeah. So anyways, that's what might be coming up. All right. But anyways, we'll see how that all works out. Now, I do want to talk a little bit, but I'm going to wait until closer to the end of today's episode about the March retreat, because I've had a new development that I'm really excited about. I'll come to that. Okay, so that takes me to a little demo I want to insert for you right here now, and it has all to do with pre-wound bobbins. I'm a fan of pre-wound bobbins, and I can give you several reasons why that is so. First of all, pre-wound bobbins are much more convenient than having to wind your own bobbin. You're working on a project, you're right in the groove with this, and suddenly you run out of bobbin thread and you don't have any more bobbins wound. So you have to rethread your machine so you can wind a bobbin or two and then start up again. And that just interrupts your workflow. With a pre-wound bobbin, no problem. Stop the machine, pull out the empty bobbin, pop in a pre-wound bobbin, away you go in under 20 seconds. So that's one reason I like pre-wound bobbins, just for the convenience of them. The second thing I like about pre-wound bobbins is there's a lot more thread on a pre-wound bobbin than you can get on a bobbin when you wind it yourself. Also, it has been wound correctly and tightly. If you wind your own bobbin, sometimes you have a problem with your bobbin winder. That will cause problems with the tension, and it'll cause problems with making bird's nests or your thread breaking. So I find them more reliable than winding your own bobbins as well. The other thing about pre-wound bobbins is the price. Now, this is where things get a little bit different. If you buy a package of pre-wound bobbins, like the one I'm showing on the left-hand side by Wonderfill, these are kind of pricey. They range in price from around $12 up to as much as $15 for one package of 12 bobbins. That's expensive. The package on the right is a bulk order. Now, I get 144 bobbins for $25 on average, and oftentimes they're on sale. Now, where do I get a box of bobbins this size? From Monfill. Monfill is a company that I've been dealing with for embroidery and sewing supplies for quite a while. They're located in Quebec, and their prices are very, very reasonable. And so is their shipping prices as well. So for $25, I get 144 pre-wound bobbins. These have a cotton thread on them that I believe, or a polyester thread actually, that's about a 60 weight, I believe. It's a 60 weight. And they work absolutely fine in my sewing machines. And I use them even in my embroidery machine as well and have no problems with them whatsoever. If you want to check this out, you can go to monfill.ca and see what they have to offer. Now, mind you, these are your standard bobbins. They will work in most sewing machines. However, you can only get them in either white or black. They don't have them in colors. So if you're using a specialty thread or a special color of thread, you may have to wind your own bobbins for that, because even with the more commercially available Wonderfill bobbins, they do come in various colors, but it's a very select grouping. You may not find the exact shade that you want. Overall, I really love using pre-wound bobbins. Both of these I've never had any problem with in my sewing machine. It's just that the Monfil ones are better value for the money. So you might want to try out, if you haven't already, pre-wound bobbins. So if you've never tried a pre-wound bobbin, I suggest you do. One thing I don't think I said in the video though, buy brand names. Don't go to the dollar store and buy a pre-wound bobbin. You're asking for disaster on something like that. Okay, so that takes us to Subscribers Quilt of the Week, and I'm very happy to say that this is a gentleman, Ron Cleveley. Ron is a regular on Craft and Chat. He and his wife. And yeah, here's his creation. This week's quilt from a subscriber comes from Ron Cleveley. And Ron did this really interesting wall hanging type quilt. And he said, made this for the Maritime Modern Quilt Challenge. It had to be a word quilt or wall hanging. It is a saying by the renowned poet Bart Simpson. I later gave it as a vegetarian restaurant, gave it to a vegetarian restaurant as sort of a gag gift. And actually, that would be really great on the wall of a vegetarian restaurant. But let's just take a little closer look at this. Very, very nice. Everybody knows Bart Simpson from The Simpsons with Don't Have a Cow Man. So that is good. And, you know, really, this shows Ron's sense of humor too, I think, by giving this to a vegetarian restaurant. Let's take a look at the design. It's all pieced together. And the quilting is very, very effective. And I'm assuming, Ron, that you did that on a long arm, or maybe you did it on a domestic machine. Either way, it's a simple quilting, but I think it suits this particular design very well. Great project, very funny, and I am sure the vegetarian restaurant really appreciated it. Thanks for sending that, Ron. And so that takes us now to the YouTube channel of the week. And this one is called Under the Needle. And it's by a very fascinating quilter named, let me get her name right, Chaunda Counts. Now, double whammy here. I am reviewing her YouTube channel and I had an interview with her. And I've just posted the interview. And I have a little teaser a little later on here in today's episode for you to get a feel for Chaunda. But Chaunda is a really fascinating quilter. So here's her YouTube channel, Under the Needle. This week's YouTube channel of the week is called Under the Needle, and this is by Chaunda Count, who is someone that I just finished interviewing and had a very fascinating interview with her. And her YouTube channel is one that I'm sure you will find very, very informative. Now, she doesn't have a lot of subscribers yet, but I'm hoping after this review and after the interview, she will gain a whole lot more. And let's just take a look at what she has to offer here. So this is her homepage of the YouTube channel. And you can see that she has some unboxing videos, quilting on the cheap. And let's just take a look at her playlist and see how she has this organized. And she has ones by certain YouTube people. She has some basic workout videos on here too as well. So she has a selection of things. She has a charity quilt along, beginner machine quilting, how do I quilt it, Juki series as well. She has a lot of very informative videos on here. What I like about her style is that she's very upfront and honest about everything that she talks about and reviews. And she is not a pretentious quilter. She is like me. She just quilts for the fun of it. And she has lots of tips to keep your stress level down, to keep your finances at a reasonable amount in terms of budgeting. And yeah, a lot of very interesting videos about doing something that you love and how to make it economical as well as effective. So if you're looking for a good YouTube channel that'll help you out with basically the everyday problems we have as quilters, then I would definitely check out Under the Needle. So I hope you'll check that out and support Chaunda's YouTube channel, because it is well worth your time. Okay, so that takes me to future projects, and I'm going back again to that McCall's magazine, the September-October 2018 edition of McCall's Quilting. And this quilt is very interesting. It's called Peanut Butter Kisses. This week's quilt that's on my vision board is again from the magazine McCall's Quilting, the Best of American Quilting, issue September-October 2018. And this magazine is one that I really am getting my money's worth from. As you know, when I pick a magazine out, if I buy a magazine, and that's rare these days, I usually will not purchase the magazine unless there's at least 3 different quilt patterns that I think have the potential to be done. And this is one of them. And it's called Peanut Butter Kisses. And what appeals to me is not the color scheme. In fact, I do not like the color scheme at all in this particular pattern. But I do like the blocks. Anything with a star in it, I'm attracted to. And I really like this particular one. Now it says that this can be made with scraps, and I don't think you need to do a template for this, like a paper piecing. I think this is all done with half square triangles. Yes, it is. So probably very easy to do. A lot of half square triangles to make, but nevertheless, I think the end result is worth it. I really like what they've done in the corners, as you can see up in here and here. I think that looks really cool as well. And even the border itself is a little bit unusual. So I think with a different color scheme, this will make a really beautiful quilt. And the finished size is 84 by 99. So that's a good size quilt. And it says finished blocks, there's 30 blocks that are 12 by 12. So it probably will go together relatively fast. So Peanut Butter Kisses is on my list. The kiss is on my list. You may know that reference if you're old enough, for a future project. And so, as I said earlier, when I was talking about Under the Needle, the YouTube channel, I have interviewed Chaunda. And here's a little teaser so you'll get a feel for what the whole interview is like. Yeah. Do you have a favorite tool and or technique?
I think one of my favorite tools, it's actually it's actually used to like trim nose hair, but I use it as a seam ripper.
Oh, okay. Is it a round one, or is it one that's actually a small trimmer with a little blade on it so you can like sort of shave on your neck or the back?
No, it doesn't have that. It's just the round one with the little kind of tip on there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like if it's a short seam, no. But if I'm putting on a border or like any kind of, or sewing a row together and I need to take that seam out, like that is my go-to. I keep it in my drawer right next to my sewing machine. And that's what I use for any seam that's probably longer than 10 inches.
You're the first person I've heard say they use a nose trimmer for that. And I'm thinking how well that would work. But what I use is a little electric shaver that is, and it's, you know, it's a hair trimmer basically, but it's a small one. And I do the same thing for a long sleeve. And up here in our dollar store, well, one of our most popular dollar stores is called Dollarama. You can buy it for $4 in that store, and it works like a charm. But the nose trimmer thing, I never thought
Mhm.
about. So
Yeah.
I might have to try that one out too to see which
Yeah,
one I
it's just
like
like a
better.
pen, little pen shaped type of
Yeah,
device. And I just use it and it just breaks the threads,
yeah.
and I just take it along the seam. I don't really know what I did without it. I think I didn't buy it for that purpose. I
No.
bought it to trim nose hair.
And now it's time for one of my quilts, and I'm starting to run out of some of my quilts to critique. Hard to believe. Now, this is one I made back in the early fall, and it was one that was based upon a panel. I saw the panel, kind of fell in love with it. I ordered all the fabrics to go with it. You have seen it before, but now here's my critique of what I call the steam engine autumn quilt. This week's quilt of my own that I'm going to critique is one that I made in the fall, and you may have seen it before, but now I'm going to take a look at it with a more critical eye because some time has passed. And this is called, or I call it, Steam Engine Autumn Quilt. And of course, it is pretty obvious why I call it Steam Engine, because of these pieces from a panel. When I first saw the panel, I really fell in love with it for the graphic images that were there. And I did find a pattern for this using the panel, and I was able to order all of the fabric with the exception of the fabric that you see in this white piece here. But I found something that would work with this as well. So if we just pull up a little closer, you can see that we have this panel piece here that I had to fussy cut from the panel. And then it's flying geese and some borders and sashing, and really easy to put together. I was really happy with the end result. This is not laying very flat on the floor, but that's not because that the borders or the binding is warped at all. It's just the way that it's laying there. I think I had just taken it out of the washing machine, actually, because I always wash my quilts after I've finished them. If you take a look at the quilting on here, I did put it on the Lucy, and the pattern is a little difficult to see, but it is a leaf pattern that I did with this. Of course, I didn't take a picture of the backing fabric or the backing of the quilt itself, but it is made up of this, which you can see here, the border, sort of autumnal colors as well. I was really happy with this, and it sat for the month of October and into November before I switched out things for Christmas on the back of one of my couches in my family room. If I want to critique it, actually, I think it turned out pretty good. So I don't have much to say about it. It was an easy quilt to put together. No real problems there. So yeah, overall, I was very happy with this particular project. So it's time now to review an online fabric store, a Canadian online fabric store. And this one's called Happy Wife Quilting. And before I get into the review of it, I just want to remind you that these reviews I do are my reviews based on my opinion only. And my opinion is based upon my first time experience on their particular website. Some of the things I say may not be completely accurate. You may have dealt with some of these places and have a totally different experience. In many of these cases, I have never ordered anything from these particular online stores. So I'm just basing it upon my impression, as if I was going out and looking for something and came across them on the internet, and I was trying to make up my mind whether or not I should deal with them. So that's what the base I'm coming from when I do these. I am not trying to be negative about any of these that I review, but I want to be honest about my feelings about it. So take that uh, with a well, basically take my reviews to a certain extent with some skepticism, because I could be wrong. I'm going by first impressions, and you never have a second chance to make a first impression. So here's my review of Happy Wife Quilting. This week's quilting shop online is called Happy Wife Quilting, and they're located in Carleton Place, Ontario, which is just outside of Ottawa. I have never been to their store. In fact, I'm not absolutely sure, and maybe we'll discover it during this review, whether or not they actually have a brick and mortar store. So here's the first page of their YouTube, not their YouTube, but of their website. Yeah, come to me, brain. And yeah, it's got an interesting little gallery of pictures and a quickie list of what they have. They have batting, classes, fabric, long arm quilting, notions, tools, and more, patterns and books. It says to see more categories. So let's click on that and see what we get. And this just breaks down their list again into subcategories. And you can see all the various things they have to offer. Okay, well, let's start as I always do with fabric and see what the price is of these. Well, not much of a selection. Not according to this. They have, what, 2 5-inch packs and a couple of panels and some heart fabric. There's got to be more than just this. So let's go back up here and let's go to fabric. They must have more than that to offer. And yes, they do. Now, there looks like their average price on fabric is $8, whether that's a meter or by a yard. I have a feeling that's probably half a meter. Do they tell you up here? No, they don't. Let's just click on one and see how that is listed. I suspect it's half a meter. Well, it says 1. Oh, wait. Fabric is sold in increments of half a meter and cut in one continuous piece. Okay. So, yeah. So it's $16 a meter. Well, that's not a bad price. That's not a bad price at all. Let's go back and see what else they have in here. Panels, yeah. 1 yard cuts, $16. Yes, okay. Charm pack, squares. Novelty fabrics. Well, they have quite a few listed. Let's see. They got 10-inch squares, 2.5-inch roll, 5-inch squares, black, blue, brown, Christmas, COVID-19 supplies, fall and Halloween, fat eighth bundle, fat quarter bundle, flannel, blah, 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 blah. Well, here they don't seem to list it by manufacturer, though, or designer. They do list it by color. Okay, let's check out their fat quarters and see what they list here for that. So fat quarters you can buy them individually. They're 4 1/4 a piece. That's about average price. Some are a little cheaper. Okay, not a wonderful selection of fat quarters. What about 10-inch squares, which would be a layer cake? $62, $63. Again, that's about average price, I would say. Yeah, not that impressed with the selection. It looks fairly limited. 5-inch squares. I have a feeling I'm going to find the same thing. Actually, they have a little better selection in the 5-inch squares. $18, $20. Okay, again, prices are fair, I think. 2.5-inch rolls, so a jelly roll. And I love my jelly rolls. Okay, again, nothing really grabbing me that I haven't seen before. $60. That's an okay price too, I guess. I well, no, I think it's a fairly fair price. How many in a jelly roll? Are there 40 or 20 strips? 42.5-inch strips, $60. Yeah, that's about the going price. Okay, so that's fabric. Let's check out their patterns and books. So, average price, I can see that. Uh, well, they've got 9 pages. So a fair number of patterns and books online. Okay. They also have bags. What do they have in bags? Now that falls under patterns and books too. So, okay. All right. Nothing unusual here. Nothing really standing out for me. What else do they have? Let's go under their products. See what they're listing here. So they look like they have applique, batting. What's their price on batting? And how do they sell that? Well, they have Hobbs, Pellon, Wrap and Zap binding, Pellon, $9. I imagine that's probably, well, I don't know what it is, probably by. Queen size, $40 for, yeah, Hobbs heirloom. They've got bamboo, warm fleece double. They have a fair selection of battings, warm and natural. I'm just curious. Let's go up here to the Pellon and see. They said $9, 90 inches wide, quantity 1. Batting is increments of half a meter. I'll say just like their fabric, $18 a meter. Again, a fair price in comparison to other places. It's about the same. Let's see if they have any classes going on right now. They have Zoom classes. That's nice. Okay, so this says classes are usually held in my home studio, and she gives the address of that. So I would say she does not have a brick and mortar store. She does most of her selling online. And there doesn't seem to be any classes. Okay, she says, in order to provide opportunity for new and exciting classes, it is not efficient for me to offer classes to a single student. Moving forward, I will monitor enrollment, and I promise to give students at least 1 week notice of classes to be canceled. If the class is canceled, all monies will be returned for the class fees. Remember, if you bring a friend, the class will always run as scheduled. Okay, so basically, she is saying that she runs small classes, but she's not listing any, so it doesn't look like she's got any classes. And it also looks like she's a long arm quilter, and probably you can send your quilts to her and she will quilt them. Yeah, she has a Gamma long arm machine, is computer driven to complete the finished look you're desiring, so she's really not doing customization. She shows you how to calculate the price. And she is showing you what designs are available, and these all come from her computer. So that's what she's doing there. Okay, so she's not really a custom quilter. She's just taking advantage of the fact that she's got a computer attachment to a long arm, which I don't have any problem with that, really. Okay, so that's about it. Oh, I wonder what their shipping is. Okay, do we have indication of that? Shipping, here we go. Let's see what she says about that. She ships by Canada Post or Campar. And what are her prices? If it's under $150, it's $15. And if it's over 150, it's free. Okay, reasonable, reasonable. Okay, overall, am I going to be ordering anything from her? No. Her prices are reasonable, I think, but really she doesn't have anything here that I can't get in other places, and in some cases, slightly better price than that. Shipping is pretty good, but there's no wow factor here for me. If I lived in the area, yes, I would probably purchase from her, but since I don't think it's a possibility for me. But that is not to say that this is not a worthwhile site to check out. She may have something on here that appeals to you. And again, if you're in her area, it's probably easier to get things from her at a more reasonable price. So that's Happy Wife Quilting. So that brings us to the end of the episode for this week. But before I go, I do want to give you an update on the March retreat. Plans are going along quite well. I've had to date about 32, 33 people indicate that they are definitely going to be part of the retreat. If you have not yet sent me an email and you're planning to attend, please let me know. It's just a statistical thing. It isn't something written in stone. I am not going to hold you hostage if you say you're going to come, because life happens, right? But it just gives me an idea of how many people I can expect. Now, exciting news. I'm working on my presenters. I have a fantastic presenter. This person is on YouTube. You probably know who this person is. I am purposely not telling you the sex of the person. I am not telling you anything more about their YouTube channel. This is going to be a surprise, but well worth the price of admission. Well, this is a free retreat, so I'm so over the moon about this. We are talking right now. It is a definite go, and I'm so excited about this. I'm trying not to give it away. I'm trying to keep it a surprise. So, yeah, I'm really thrilled with it. I have another presenter that we're talking about how we're going to do that presenter's presentation, because there is a bit of a conflict on dates for this individual, but we think we could do it as a video presentation as well. And again, I'm hoping this will all come to fruition, because this person is a fantastic long arm quilter. And I know you'll really appreciate that presentation. I have another presentation I thought I had sort of semi lined up, but I haven't heard back from the person, so I can only assume that they can't manage it, and that's fine. So, I don't know if I'm going to have any other presentations. I might have, yeah, but one of the things I do want to have, and it was in my announcement about the retreat, is I need your creations. One picture of something you're very proud of. It doesn't necessarily have to be a quilt. It could be some other creation as well. You don't need to write a blurb about it. All I need is a picture in JPEG format, please, in your first and your last name. And oh, and by the way, when I talk about first and last names, please, when you're letting me know that you're coming to the retreat, could you include in your email to me your real first and last name? Because on the day of, you'll go into a waiting room. And in the waiting room, if I don't recognize your name, I'm not letting you in. Because I've had some problems with Russian robots who try to get in and create chaos on a Zoom meeting. So this way I can screen who's coming in, and if I know your real name, I know you're a real person. Because oftentimes when you hook up with Zoom, it'll default to whatever your computer is called or whatever you used the last time. Like it may default to, iPad. Well, that's not good enough. So please put your first and last name in the email. Okay, I'm not going to do anything with that. I'm going to keep it as private as possible, but I do need that. Okay, it's important. So it's also important that you send me a picture of a creation so I can create a trunk show that day and show everybody else in the world your wonderful creations. Now, if you have not yet gotten the details, because you weren't on my original list from one of the other retreats, for those people, I'd already sent out a very detailed blurb about everything that's going on with the Zoom links and stuff like that. When you let me know that you're interested, that you're planning to come, I will send you that email. But in the meantime, if you want to take a look at it, I have put a link in the show notes to a document that you can just click on, and it's in PDF format, and you can read all about the plans for the retreat from there as well. And down the road, as we get closer to the date, I will have an agenda for the day as well. So you'll know when the speakers are coming on, what times, and everything like that, and other things that are going on, and prize draws and stuff like that. Okay, so I hope you are planning to attend. It's going to be great. It always is. We have a great time, a lot of fun. So thank you for listening to me today and tuning in. I hope you're happy. I hope you're healthy. And I hope you're being creative. And we'll see you next week. Bye for now.